Hello guys, it's the Unclear 999. Today's video is about the dawn of civilization, birthplaces of nationhood in the early millennia of human history. Long before maps delineated nations, nomadic tribes drifted across fertile valleys and rugged highlands in search of water, game, and arable land. It was in these crucibles of survival where families settled, dug wells, and domesticated animals that the first seeds of countryhood were planted. Today, when scholars speak of the oldest countries, they often refer not to modern nation-states with precise borders and constitutions, but to societies whose cultural, political, and religious foundations have endured for millennia. These are lands where identities were forged before the rise of empire. Legends, or written chronicles yet, their voices echo through time and surviving customs, languages, and institutions. One of the earliest known civilizations emerged located in southern Mesopotamia around 4500 BCE. While Sumer was not a country in the contemporary sense, city-states like Uruk-Ur and Eridu developed political structures, writing systems, and religious harp. Their innovations of ritual practices, urban organization, and legal codes lay the groundwork for organized societies that would eventually form the region's successive empires. The legacies of Sumer would flow downstream into Babylon and Assyria, and centuries later form the cultural substratum of what we now call Iran, one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations. Further east, the Egyptian civilization, founded around 3100 BC, was the first polity to claim clear territorial unity under a divine king, or pharaoh. Thanks to the predictable floods of the Nile, the Egyptians developed advanced agriculture, monumental architecture, and centralized governance. Their national identity coalesced early on around shared religion, language, and a sense of order. Egypt persisted as a coherent cultural and political entity for over 3,000 years through old, middle, and new kingdoms, surviving external invasions, yet retaining its core identity. Modern Egypt, while very different, still draws upon this ancient heritage, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited and socially cohesive regions on Earth. Meanwhile, in the Indus Valley, the Harappan civilization announced its presence around 2600 BCE with the planned cities of Harappa and Mohenjo. Though much of their language and political structure remain archaeological evidence reveals sophisticated urban planning, drainage systems, and trade relations. Though Harappa eventually declined around 1900 BCE, many cultural aspects including agricultural techniques and craft traditions survived in successor states across South Asia, influencing what would become the subcontinent's enduring ethnic and cultural mosaic. In East Asia, the Xia dynasty of China is traditionally dated to around 2070 BCE, though archaeological verification is debated. What matters more is that by the time of the well-documented Shang dynasty, China had solidified political unity, ritual hierarchies, and writing systems. With nearly 4,000 years of continuous dynastic succession, China is unmatched in its cultural longevity. Its imperial bureaucracy, Confucian traditions, and written language have become the backbone of East Asia's civilization surviving war, fragmentation, and rapid modernization to the present-day. Yet just as important is Iran, whose cultural lineage stretches back to the Bronze Age societies of Elam and progresses through the Median, Achaemenid, Parthian, and Sassanid empires, with Cyrus the Great's empire building in 550 BC. Persia became the world's first empire defined by both territorial breadth and a unifying administrative system. Even after the Arab conquest of the 7th century CE, Iran's Persian-speaking core maintained its cultural heart, language, and sense of national identity. Today's Islamic Republic of Iran still reflects this ancient continuity, making it one of history's oldest social-political entities. These civilizations, Mesopotamia, Sumer, dynastic Egypt, Indus Valley, early China, and ancient Persia, did not start off as countries in the modern meaning, with fixed borders or parliaments. Instead, they began as fluid territories unified by deeper bonds, shared geography, religion, language, and governance. Over time, as these shared bonds were reinforced through writing, ritual, and architecture, their territories began to resemble early nations' people, belonging to the same polity, recognizing the same rulers, and owning a common legacy. Fast forward to today, and many descendants of those ancient lands retain a cultural thread that stretches back thousands of years. The concept of nationhood is relatively modern, but some countries trace their identities and continuous existence back thousands of years. Among the oldest is Egypt, often cited as the cradle of civilization, where the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt around 3100 BCE under Pharaoh Narmer marked the beginning of a centralized state. Egypt's legacy of pharaohs, pyramids, and hieroglyphs carved into stone testifies to its deep cultural roots that survive today through language, architecture, and national pride. Similarly, Iran, historically known as Persia, boasts an ancient lineage that stretches back to the Elamite kingdoms of around 3200 BC and was solidified by the Achaemenid Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great in 550 BCE. The Persian Empire's contributions to governance, philosophy, and the arts resonate in modern Iranian identity. China, another ancient civilization, traces its statehood to the Xia dynasty around 2070 BCE, although archaeological evidence ties its culture back even further. China's imperial dynasties created a system of centralized governance, bureaucracy, Confucian philosophy, and innovations such as paper-making and gunpowder, leaving an indelible mark on world history. India, with its roots in the Indus Valley Civilization, is another contender for the oldest country. Its civilization evolves through Vedic Mauryan and Gupta periods, each contributing to a profound spiritual and philosophical legacy that birthed Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Greece, often dubbed the birthplace of democracy and Western philosophy, has maintained a unique cultural identity since Mycenaean civilization and through the classical period, influencing political theory, art, and science worldwide. Likewise, Japan, with its imperial line dating back to 660 BCE, under Emperor Ieyasu, claims the oldest continuous hereditary monarchy. Its early Shinto traditions merged with Buddhism to shape the spiritual and national character that persists in modern Japan. Ethiopia, often overlooked, holds a significant position in world history, with evidence of organized kingdoms like DMT and the powerful Aksumite Empire that adopted Christianity as early as the 4th century CE, establishing Ethiopia as one of the world's first Christian nations. San Marino, though small, is recognized as the world's oldest republic, founded in 301 CE, maintaining its independence through centuries of European warfare. France and Portugal emerged in the early medieval period, France through the Treaty of Verdun in 843 and Portugal in 1139 following the Christian reconquest of both, preserving cultural and political identities across shifting European borders. While many modern nations were shaped by colonialism and revolution, these ancient states serve as enduring symbols of cultural continuity, resilience, and identity. Their histories remind us that the idea of a country is not just about borders or governments, but about people, traditions, and stories passed down through generations.